I'd been in the new place for 3 weeks when it happened. The first few days were quiet. My little rental sat at the end of a cul-de-sac, wedged between 2 older houses with well-kept yards. I moved in at the end of summer, and while I'd waved to a few neighbors, I didn't know anyone by name. The house itself was nothing special. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, creaky floors, and a faint smell of fresh paint. Still, it felt like mine. That night, I'd been binge-watching a show in the living room. It was about 9:30, the sun long gone, and I'd pulled the blinds shut more out of habit than fear. I wasn't a paranoid person, but I liked the feeling of being closed off from the outside world. When the knock came, it was sharp, too sharp. 3 hard raps, evenly spaced. I muted the TV and listened. The knock came again. Same rhythm. Not hurried, not hesitant. I got up, walked to the door, and looked through the peephole. A man stood there, mid-40s maybe, wearing a dark jacket zipped to the neck. His hair was short and messy, like he'd been in the wind. He wasn't smiling, but he didn't look hostile. His hands were shoved deep into his pockets. I cracked the door an inch, leaving the chain on. "Can I help you?" "Yeah," he said, his voice low but steady. "You're in my house." I blinked. "Excuse me?" "This is my house," he repeated, like he was talking to a stubborn child. "I need you to leave." I laughed, a nervous, awkward sound I instantly regretted. "No, I just moved in. I rent this place from the owner. I am the owner." Something in the way he said it made my skin tighten. There wasn't anger in his tone, just certainty, like the matter was already settled. "You must be mistaken," I said. "I signed the lease myself, the landlord—" "I don't care about your landlord," he cut in. "I live here. You shouldn't be here." I took a step back, my hand tightening on the edge of the door. "I'm calling the police." He tilted his head, just a little. "Go ahead, they know me." The way he said it, calm, unbothered, sent a jolt through me. I shut the door, locked it, and went for my phone. My hands were trembling so badly I almost dropped it. I dialed 911, explained the situation as clearly as I could. The dispatcher told me to stay inside and that an officer would be there soon. I gave my address and tried to breathe. When I glanced back toward the front door, he was gone, or so I thought. A shadow flickered past the front window, slow and deliberate. Then came a sound from the back of the house, the faint rattle of the sliding glass door. I crept into the kitchen, heart slamming, and saw him standing outside on the patio. His face was closer now, pressed slightly toward the glass. His expression didn't change when he saw me. He lifted his hand and tapped the glass once, softly. I shouted through the glass, "The police are on their way." He didn't move. He just looked at me, his head tilting again, the faintest smile forming at the corner of his mouth. Then he mouthed something. "Get out." I pulled the curtain shut and backed away. The house suddenly felt much smaller, every dark corner a place he could be. The knocking started again, not on the front door, not on the back, but on the side of the house. A hollow, deliberate thud against the wall. By the time the police arrived, the night outside was silent again. 2 officers came in, searched the property, found nothing. They said they'd patrol the area for the rest of the night, but there wasn't much else they could do. One of them asked, "Did he threaten you?" "Yes," I said. "He told me to get out of my own house." The officer exchanged a look with his partner. "Well, he's gone now. Keep your doors locked. Call us if he comes back." After they left, I stayed up for hours, lights on in every room, checking the locks over and over. I didn't sleep until almost dawn. I woke up late, disoriented. The sunlight through the blinds felt too bright. I made coffee and tried to tell myself it was over. Maybe he was some drunk who got the wrong address. And I noticed something on the kitchen counter that hadn't been there the night before. A single, old-fashioned brass key. I didn't own a key like that. My stomach dropped. I picked it up with a tissue and locked it in a drawer. 2 nights later, it happened again. I was in bed, half asleep, when I heard the sound of a door unlocking. Not the front, the back. I grabbed the bat I kept by the bed and crept to the kitchen. The sliding glass door was open 2 inches, the night air creeping in. But he was standing inside. He didn't move when I stepped into the doorway. His eyes were fixed on mine, unblinking. "You need to leave," he said softly. "This is my house. You shouldn't be here." I gripped the bat tighter. "Get out, now!" He took a slow step forward, not threatening, but like he was trying to herd me toward the door. I shouted, "I'm calling the police!" and lunged for my phone on the counter. He didn't chase me. He just turned and walked calmly back out the sliding door into the darkness. By the time the police arrived again, he was gone. They found no sign of forced entry. I decided to leave. That night, I started packing, throwing my clothes into bags, unplugging electronics. I didn't care about breaking the lease. Around midnight, the power went out. The hum of the refrigerator stopped. The lights went black. From outside, in the absolute silence, came his voice. "You don't belong here." Then, closer, right outside the living room window. "You need to get out." I grabbed my keys, my bags, and ran for the front door. When I opened it, he was standing in the middle of the driveway. The pale light from a street lamp caught his face, calm, patient, like he'd been waiting for me. "Good," he said. "You're leaving." I didn't speak. I just got in my car and drove. I didn't stop until I was in a hotel 30 miles away. I never went back to that house. When I called the landlord to tell him what happened, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said something I'll never forget. I thought I got all the keys back from the previous owner. Guess I missed one. It was a Thursday night when my phone buzzed. I'd been sitting on the couch, half watching a movie, half scrolling through my feed. The room was dim except for the flicker of the TV and the glow of my phone screen. Outside, the street was quiet, too quiet for my liking. The text came from an unknown number. No name, no profile picture, just 3 words. "I am inside." At first, I thought it was a prank. Some spam message meant to scare me. I stared at it for a moment, waiting for the punchline. Maybe a link, maybe some scam pitch. But there was nothing else. A cold ripple spread down my spine. I looked around my living room as if expecting someone to step out from behind the curtains. I typed back, "Who is this?" The dots appeared almost immediately, like they'd been waiting for me to respond. "You know who I am." My throat went dry. I didn't know who they were. At least, I didn't think I did. I locked my phone, set it down on the coffee table, and told myself it was nothing. Probably a wrong number. Maybe a friend is messing with me. The phone buzzed again. Nice couch. I froze. I glanced at the front door. Locked. The windows. Locked. But my couch was in full view from the living room window if you stood close enough. I got up slowly and peeked through the blinds. The street was empty. No cars. No people. My phone buzzed again. "Don't bother looking." My heart slammed against my ribs. I turned off the TV to hear better. The silence in the house felt thick, heavy. Another buzz. "I can hear you breathing." I dropped the blinds and stepped back. My hands were shaking as I dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency?" I explained in a rush, my voice trembling. The dispatcher's tone was calm but urgent. "Stay inside, lock every door and window. Officers are on their way." I checked the back door, locked. The side door, locked. The sliding glass door, locked. My phone buzzed. That won't help. I turned off the ringer and shoved the phone in my pocket. From the back of the house came a faint creak, like a floorboard under weight. I froze, straining to hear. Another creak, closer this time. I grabbed the heavy flashlight from the kitchen drawer and moved toward the hallway. My breathing was loud in my ears. I wished I could make it stop. The creak came again. "Police are on their way," I called out, my voice cracking. No answer. I reached my bedroom door and flicked on the light. Empty. Closet. Empty. Under the bed. Empty. Back in the hallway, my phone buzzed again. Almost found you. I nearly dropped it. I didn't text back. The sound of footsteps came from the living room. Slow, measured. I raised the flashlight like a weapon and stepped forward. Nothing. The front door was still locked. The blinds are still drawn. Then the phone buzzed again. Behind you. I spun around, heart pounding so hard it hurt. No one was there. Red and blue lights flashed through the blinds. A knock at the door. Police! I unlocked it so fast I almost broke the latch. 2 officers stepped in, one older, one younger. They searched the house from top to bottom. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, nothing. One of them asked to see the texts. I handed over my phone. He scrolled, then frowned. These messages don't have a number, he said. What do you mean? I mean, there's no sender info. It's just blank. That made no sense. I watched him scroll again, his brow furrowed. Could be some kind of messaging app. We'll file a report. After they left, I locked up again. But I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house felt wrong. At 3:14 a.m., my phone buzzed again. You shouldn't have let them leave. The next day, I called my friend Matt to tell him what happened. He laughed at first, until he heard the tone in my voice. You think someone's messing with you? He asked. I don't know, I said. But they knew what my couch looked like. They knew when I was looking out the window. He offered to come stay the night, but I told him no. I didn't want to put anyone else in danger. I spent the day triple-checking locks, closing blinds, making sure every possible entrance was secure. Around sunset, I found something taped to my front door. It was a photo of me, sitting on my couch, taken last night. My hands shook as I flipped it over. On the back was a single word, written in thick black marker. Soon. That night, I didn't watch TV. I didn't play music. I sat in the dark with the flashlight and my phone in my lap. At 11:47, the first text came. Why are the lights off? I didn't respond. It's darker in your bedroom. I stood up slowly, every nerve in my body screaming. My bedroom door was closed. I hadn't gone in there all night. Another text. I like the shirt you're wearing. I looked down. Plain gray t-shirt. They could see me. I called 911 again. The dispatcher recognized my address immediately. As I waited for the sirens, the doorknob to the back door rattled. Not violently, just enough to make the lock click. Then a voice outside, low and calm, just loud enough to hear. Let me in. I backed into the hallway, gripping the flashlight like a weapon. It's rude not to answer. Sirens, footsteps on the porch, a shout. Police! The officers swept the backyard, but like before, no one. One of them stayed with me until dawn. I didn't sleep. The third night I left, packed a bag, booked a hotel, and didn't tell anyone where I was going. Around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. Nice room. I looked toward the hotel window. The curtains were drawn tight. You can't hide, Jake. I hadn't told them my name, not once. I turned off the phone, tossed it in the drawer, and sat on the edge of the bed until the sun came up. I moved 2 weeks later, changed my number, got a new phone, new locks, new everything. But sometimes late at night, I think I hear the faint buzz of a message, and I'm too afraid to look.